Okay. Okay, perfect. Hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing well. Uh, Please confirm if you can hear me or not. Okay, my phone says that I've gone live, so okay, so I think everything should be good. Okay, hold on, there you go. Yo, yo. Hey, not much. How's it going, Moldy Crow? How's it going, Red Herring? Clark Kent, everybody else? Perfect, perfect. Okay, so as I said at the end of last weekend's stream, the plan for today, or rather the plan for this weekend, is to finally, now that we have the grid done, we're finally gonna introduce the actual uh, building placement mechanic, right? Because it's a city builder, so you need to build buildings, right? And then I'm thinking of also introducing like UI buttons. It's going to be very basic, but it's just the concept of how do you put like buttons, right? Like icons, buttons, whatever, on your UI, and how do you link them with specific what's it called, with specific mechanics, right? Or specific code or stuff like that, right? Because in the tower defense tutorial, not tutorial but prototype, we were simply using mouse scroll wheel to oh, all right, hold on. We were using mouse scroll wheel to how can I say, so sorry, because like I'm thinking about 50 different things at the same time. We were using mouse scroll wheel to change the buildings, right? To change the shape of the buildings and stuff. Whereas now we're going to be using actual UI elements, right? So also let me just change this a bit. Let's say max elevation 5 or 6, and then this -5. Let's see if it's less extreme. Let's see. Oh, all right. Okay, there you go. All right, it's already a little less extreme. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go into our script and let's see. No, it wasn't spawner manager. So it's player manager, I believe. Place current tower, yes, and also raycast. Where was raycast? Raycast manager. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let's first create a new raycast script. Oops, not this. A new raycast script. We're gonna call it raycast CB manager. So city builder manager. Now we're gonna wait for this to appear. Okay, perfect. So this, I'm just gonna drag it over to my other screen, and I'm just straight up gonna, there we go. I'm just gonna copy paste some lines of code like that. Okay. Void awake. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this is gonna be raycast CB manager instance. There we go. We're gonna change it like that. Now here we're just going to add this like that. There we go. Player TD manager. Variables for interacting with other scripts. Okay, well, this for now. Do I have a player city builder manager? Not yet, so this is irrelevant. Okay. Header, public canvas. Okay, yeah. This we're not gonna use this for now, but we might end up using it later. So placement layer mask, yes. Towers layer mask. No, we're gonna rename this to structures. Oops. Structures layer mask. Okay. Placement indicator, placement area object. Yup. Okay. So placement raycast, blah blah blah. Yeah, placement area, exactly. New tower placement boolean. Okay, right. Okay, so now we're gonna have to copy a lot of the logic that we used in in the tower defense prototype. Let's just grab this and move it onto here. So how was it? Tower placement manager, blah blah blah. Update resources. Okay, hold on. So let's see. Player camera manager. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new script. We're gonna call it the player CB manager. So player city builder manager. Okay. Let's open it up. Okay, player. There you go. Okay. Okay. Let's say like that. Then CB manager instance. Then we're gonna have raycast manager. Okay, private raycast CB manager is going to be this raycast CB manager script. There we go. We're gonna remove these like that. Like that. Player manager. TD. Okay. So this is the object that is controlled by the player. Sure. Let's change it to this. We might not end up using it. Like, we honestly might not end up using either of these, but still, right? Yeah. This is probably not going to be used for anything. Okay. So what else? We already have the movement done in our player camera manager. Yup. So now what I'm gonna do here, it's tower placement variables. Current tower to place object. Okay. So now let me just show you. So these are the variables in my player manager tower defense script. I'm gonna take some of these, but a lot of them I'm gonna modify them, and even the ones I'm gonna take are probably gonna be modified a little bit, right? Because since we're doing a city builder and I'm actually going to start adding UI elements, right? I'm going to have to modify some of the logic, right? Because if we look here, let me show you. Okay, mouse wheel up, current tower index goes up by 1. Mouse wheel down, current tower index goes down by 1, right? That's not like how it's gonna work for the city builder, right? So let's just go back to here. So here we have tower placement. Okay, first let's just do like that. Okay, here we can stop this. There you go. There you go. Let's go back to our raycast CB manager. Okay, yeah, this is good. Placement raycast. Okay. So now here we're gonna do what is it? Player CB. Rename private player. Player CB manager. Okay. All right. So now, what was the logic here? It's when we have the new tower placement boolean, blah blah blah. Okay. So first we're gonna go here and we're actually going to add the missing stuff. So tower placement. Okay, hold on. Place current tower. Okay. So we have 3 different functions that we are going to use here. Reset tower placement. Okay, blah blah blah. And okay, tower placement manager. Okay. Now we're gonna rename this to structure placement manager. Okay, so let's go back up to here and let's see here. Let's change this like that. Okay, so some of the errors have disappeared, like this one, and we're gonna change it to new structure placement boolean, number of overlapping structures overlapping, can place new structure boolean. Okay. And the next structure placement is okay, player structures placement. Okay, yeah. Okay. There you go. Okay. So here we're gonna have players. So structures placement prefabs list, and here we're gonna have structures prefabs list. Okay. Again, I know this is not the most interesting part, but as always, this is the start, so we're mostly just copying from our old code. Structure ID, there you go. Structure prefab. So these ones I'm not really gonna change them, I don't think. Okay. So here we're gonna do public integer current structure ID. Let's put it at 0. This is used to determine which structure will be placed. Okay, and now if you look here, hold on, god damn it, there you go. If you look here, we have like the current player resources, player tower costs, etc., etc. Because this is a city builder, these 2 things are going to be more complex, right? And I'm going to have multiple different lists for the different costs, right? Like if something costs 100 gold and 50 lumber and 0 stone, well, I'm going to have 3 lists, one for the stone cost, one for what's it called? The lumber cost, one for the gold cost, stuff like that, right? Or like if something costs food or whatever, right? Okay, so current. Hold on, let's just do it like that. Current structure to police object. Okay, so this is the structure that the player currently has selected for placement. Okay. Okay. So let's go here and modify this. Current tower manager script, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. So this here eventually we're going to have to add to create a structure manager script, but for now we're not going to do it just because it's not super necessary. This raycast script. Okay. That. Is there any other missing raycast stuff? No. Okay, yeah, costs list. Yeah, okay, these ones I'm not gonna touch them. Game manager, all towers list. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is used. Okay, this I might not touch it. Anyways, all these mistakes we're gonna start solving them one by one, right? So let's go back to our where is it? Raycast CB manager. Okay, so now it's not giving us any errors. Great. So this in theory should be working fine, right? So let's see. Fuck. Hold on. Let's go back to here. Okay. Let's just nullify this code here. There we go. Okay, perfect. Right, so now it's supposed to compile. Assuming we don't have any errors. No. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now let's do this here. Let's create an empty object and then structure placement object. Okay, and now let's create a sphere. It's structure placement indicator. Okay. Materials. Let's make it. I don't know. Oh, hold on. Transparent. Transparent white. Okay, there you go. Okay. Like that. We're gonna remove the sphere collider because we don't need it. Okay, perfect. Now here we're going to add. Oops, no. We're going to go into scripts, city builder, player, city builder manager, or yeah, we can do it like that. Okay, main camera. Even though again, like we're not using this, so honestly these ones I might as well remove them, but for now we're gonna keep it simple and stupid, blah blah blah. Okay, we're also going to add the raycast thing here. That's current placement area option. Okay, perfect. Okay. And now I'm going to go here into my prefabs, city builder prefabs, and what is it? It's land. Oh no, wait, land, because these ones are placeholders. Yeah, water, and all of them we're going to give them the placement area and placement. Yes, children, sure. Okay, there you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now let's select this. Now let's see if our raycast works. Let's see. Oh. Okay, it's still loading, kind of. Okay, let me see. Let's select a random one. Untagged placement. Okay, fuck. Hold on. For whatever reason, it did not change their tags. Okay, so placement area. Placement area. Okay. So hold on. So let's look. Let's see the console. Placement recast. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm missing an actual reference to this. So we're gonna say player CB manager equals this dot game object dot get component. There you go. Okay, perfect. Okay. So hopefully this should be good now. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Ah, there you go. Now it's giving us errors. Those errors are probably coming from another okay, hold on. If I were to change this like that, okay, now it's giving us other errors. Yeah, but basically it has to do with this, right? Okay, perfect. So we know the raycast works, so that's good already. So must be non-negative. Yeah, current structure ID. Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Won't change the tag of prefabs when several of them are selected. No, it did change the tag. It's just that the error. I mean, probably the way I did it manually here, I forgot one of them or something like that. But yeah, it did change it. So now here, if you look, the tags are all good. They're all placement area and on the placement layer. Okay, so let's create some very basic prefabs for our structures. But before that, let's just create a placeholder script for our what's it called? For our structures. So let's call it structure manager. Okay. Hold on. Okay, just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back. All right. Okay, so here in our player city builder manager, here we have the list with all the prefabs and blah, blah, blah. For now, we're not gonna touch it, but eventually we're gonna actually populate it. That's why it's giving us an error. It's because we haven't properly populated it. Here it's giving us errors because we don't have the costs lists and stuff. But game manager, yeah, that we don't need. Okay, yeah, these we're gonna change. Current tower height. Okay, current tower manager. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, so just give me a second here. Let's look at tower manager. Okay, yeah, and this is where they're gonna detect blah blah blah. Okay. We're not gonna have all of these variables, at least not for now. Instead, this YouTube crowns are spreading everywhere. Listen, like I have no idea. It just appeared on its own. Like I did not enable anything. I did not even see in my stream options. I didn't even see the option to like enable or disable them. So I don't know. But okay, so let me just do this for now. Core variable, blah blah blah. Okay. Placeholder variable. Okay. Okay, there you go. So now let's go back to here, player, city builder, manager. Okay, so we're gonna create the different structures. They're gonna be placeholders. So for now, I think we're gonna make 3. We're gonna create 3 placeholder structures, and this should be good. Okay. And cost. Okay, so we're gonna say so here are tower placement variables, structure placement variables. Here it's going to be public list of type integer, public list. Already sold out confirmed as an infected. Jesus. Okay, hold on. So here we're gonna have, let me just see. Okay, we're gonna call it yeah, because this is player manager, so player okay, yeah, okay, so this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay, we're going to have lists containing the amount of resources that the player has, right? Or actually they're not lists. So okay, hold on, players resources list. Okay, so players resources list equals yeah, this, there you go, index equals resource ID, list element equals number of said resource. Okay, here we're gonna say 0 equals pop, 1 equals food, 2 equals lumber, 3 equals stone, 4 equals gold, let's say. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna copy paste this here. No, not here. I'm gonna copy paste it into my, holy fuck, there you go, into my thing here, and this is this structures costs list. Okay, mesh of said resource, this structure costs. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, There you go. All right. So now let me just think. Okay, we have the player resources list. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go down here. So place current structure. Reset structure placement manager. Okay, and now here what we're gonna do is if player resources list, there you go, is greater or equal to hold on, I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna do it. Okay. Public list current structures costs list. There you go. Equals resource ID. Oops, list element equals costs per resource. Oh, hey, JK. I should really download Visual Studio. I'm still using Notepad++. Jesus. Yeah, you really should. It's really good. It also has like lots of implementations with Unity, but you need to download the specific, what are they called? The specific, like not add-ons, but like assemblies or whatever the fuck it's called. So current structures cost list. Okay, so here's the logic, right? Whenever the player selects a specific type of oh wait, okay, hold on, I just realized something. Because we're gonna be using UI, I might have to do it a different way. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it a different way. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this thing, I think I'm not gonna end up using. Okay, hold on. Let me just okay, I'm gonna prep the terrain a little bit. Okay, so UI related variables. Float update UI timer f equals -1.0. This is used to update the timer, the UI. Okay. Visual Studio makes it easier and faster, like lube. Well, that's one way of putting it. So update UI time elapsed f equals okay. We're gonna go down here like that, and now here I'm gonna do public void update UI. Okay, so if time, what the fuck is the variable? Ah, fuck. Okay. Time elapsed. No. God, you're what the fuck is wrong with you? Update UI time. Okay, time elapsed is lower than timer UI timer f, okay. Then UI time elapsed plus equals time dot delta time, okay. Else if time elapsed is greater or equal than UI timer, okay. So here it's update UI to reflect which structures can be placed, I guess. Based on resources. Okay, hold on. Ah, fuck. I don't know how I slept, but like my fucking, I'm right-handed and my right hand, like two of my fingers are fucking hurting. It's like the muscles. Probably like slept on my hand or some shit. So now it's annoying having to constantly like hold the mouse. Fuck's sake. Hold on. I'm just stretching my hand. Okay. All right. So okay, so this we're not gonna touch it for now. Let me think of how I would go about doing it with multiple resources, right? So here we have the player's resources. Here we have each individual structure's costs. Then okay, here I'm going to have public list in the engine sure button structures buttons list. There you go, like that. Symptoms of carpal tunnel. Yo, yeah. Like I don't have carpal tunnel, but I mean sometimes it gets pretty bad. The pain. Anyways, okay. So we have multiple resources and stuff. Okay, so can place new structure. Okay, so I guess this we don't really need it. Instead, let me see. Current tower manager script. Okay, so oops, sorry. Private structure manager, current structure manager script. There you go. Now here it's first go to placement towers, blah blah blah. Okay, so current structure manager equals prefabs list structures prefabs list dot struct id dot get component structure manager. There you go. Okay, so that should be good. Also, I've noticed that I've misspelled this. Structures. Okay, there you go. One morning I woke up with both of my arms asleep. At that moment I understood how snakes felt like. Could only thrash around like a spaz for about a minute. Jesus. Hope you get rich soon to be able to hire a code monkey. Oh lord. No, my only code monkey is ChatGPT. Okay, hold on. So now here is where we access this script. Now let's see if we ever update it anywhere else. Then move set tower placement to the position, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this we don't touch. Update structures overlapping status. Oh right. Okay, I'm going to need to implement the thing that makes them, yeah, the tower placement here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna need to create a script called structure placement. Okay, structure placement, tower placement. Let's just do it like that. Let's copy paste. It's gonna be real basic. It's gonna be real basic. Okay, so let me just fix this. Oops, player CB manager. Manager CB instance. Okay, let me just change this to there you go, like that. Number of okay, there you go. Okay, so now this should work, hopefully. Oh, hold on. Structure CB. Allow player to place a new structure. A new prevent player from placing a new structure. Okay, so we have this like that. Okay, let's go back to here. Player manager CB. Okay, now we're going to simply rename this to player manager CB. Player manager CB. This here it's okay, perfect. All right. Okay. Right. So here we check if there are overlapping structures. If not, blah blah blah. Okay. And then what was it? Let me just check. Player TD manager. Okay, yeah. So late update. We're gonna have to do void late update. There you go. Again, for reference, I'm just copying a lot from my tower defense code. Let's copy this. Okay, left click. Can place new tower. Can place new structure boolean. Place current structure. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. And for now, we don't have anything else. I'm still gonna put these just to be prepared in case we need something. Okay. Like that. Same thing with the mouse wheel. But we're going to remove this. Mouse, oops. Mouse wheel up. Okay, there you go. Mouse wheel down. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, now here we're at the cost part. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is current structure manager dot costs list dot 0. Okay. Oops, no. Resources list 1. Dot costs list dot 1. Hold on. Let's do it like that. So how many? We had 5 resources, right? So it goes from 0 to 4. Exactly. Okay. So then here, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which makes 5 total. 3, 2. Oh, fuck, hold on. There you go. Okay. So now, let's just make it look a little bit better. Like that. Okay. I know this looks kind of like a mess, but... Or actually, hold on. Hold on. Can place new structure. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna add a little bit of some stuff. So this is like the really ghetto way of doing it, okay? Of checking using the same indexes, right? So index 0 is population. Index 1 is, what was it, like food. 2 is lumber, 3 is stone, and 4 is gold, right? So we have 5 resources. And so instead of checking like, okay, how much population does the player have, and how much population does the structure cost, how much food does the player have, how much food does the structure cost, whatever, right? Instead of that, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a for loop, but before that I'm going to create a new boolean, which is going to say public bool can afford structure bool equals false. Okay. So here it's if can place structure and can afford structure, then place the new one, right? So what we're gonna do here is can place, then see if the player can place structure during this frame. Update structure's overlapping status, and also check if the player can afford it. So first we're gonna say, okay, so if no, so for, it's a for loop, integer loop index 0. Hold on, we're not in the loop, right? Nope, we're not in the loop. Okay, perfect. Player list, player resources list dot count. Again, if you guys have any questions as to what I'm doing or like why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, like let me know live so I can help you and like answer your questions, right? Like for instance, like if you understand why I'm making the for loop here instead of doing this, right? So if can afford structure equals true, and okay, hold on, no, we're gonna say if player resources list loop index is lower or equal to lower equal to current structure manager dot costs list loop index. Check to see if if player can afford current structure by comparing players resources to structures costs. So let me just think about this to see if it's if my logic makes sense here. So here we have the player resources. So like if current okay. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna say that the player can afford the structure automatically, but immediately afterwards we're gonna check, right? Or let's say actually it's gonna be false, right? And here we're gonna say like that, right? If can afford boolean equals false, then can afford equals true, else if can afford equals true, then can afford equals false. Oh no, wait, hold on. I'm stupid. Otherwise, there you go. I was expecting you would use a for loop to check every cost requirement. We know you love for loops. Bro, for loops are so useful, it's insane. It's insane how useful they are. So can afford a structure bool. Okay. So this should work. And now instead of having this, all we can do is game object newly placed structure object equals instantiate. Well, actually, what the fuck am I doing? I can just, yeah, I can just do it like that. And here we can rename it to newly placed structure object, right? And then we can simply do resources. So another for loop, fuck it, why not? Why not? We love our for loops. Player list, player resources list, dot count, loop index plus plus, there you go. And now we're literally just gonna do players resources list, loop index minus equal current structure manager, costs. Boom, there you go. Simple. So now this we can remove it entirely. This we can remove it as well. There you go. There you go, like that. Okay. So on and so forth. Okay. Okay, so now let me just actually set everything up. Okay. Yeah, it's still giving us errors maybe or not. I don't know, whatever. Let's set everything up. Let's create some prefabs. Okay, so hold on. We're gonna create them here. We're gonna do 3D object, let's say cube, structure 0, 0. There you go. Let's put it dead center. Trigger, and we're gonna give it the fuck, hold on, what was it called? The structure CB tag. We're gonna create the tag here. There you go. So we're gonna select this structure CB tag, rigid body. Let's do it like that. Remove gravity. Okay, everything should be good. Let's go into materials and let's make it blue. So then we're gonna have 3 structures. So that. And green. There you go. Okay, and now all three of these, we're gonna give them the structure placement script, as well as the structure manager script. Placeholder variable, yeah. Now here we're gonna do 5, and for now they're gonna be free. All three of these structures are gonna be free for now, just to keep things simple. Let's go here into prefabs. There you go. Okay, let's go here into our game manager. Ah, for fuck's sake. Okay, hold on. Player manager CB. Player manager CB. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now we just reset it. Like that. Let's see. Remove component, player manager. Like that. Main camera. Like that. Boom, boom. Player resources list. Get this for now, we're not gonna do it, and we're gonna do it once every second. Okay. Nope, not this. Player manager CB. We're gonna just rename this to make it easier to read in the, there we go, time elapsed. Okay. Okay, now it's compiling. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Let's also create the. Actually, hold on. These three should not have the structure placement remove component. They have the structure CB. Okay. And now we're going to duplicate them. Okay, like that. And structure placement. That, like that. Materials, oops, transparent material, red transparent, green transparent, blue transparent. Okay, perfect. Structure CB, blah blah blah. Okay, now script, city builder, structure placement. Okay, like that. Let's move it down here. Let's remove this. Let's go here, prefabs. Original prefabs. Okay. So now everything should hopefully be fine. Yes. All three of these. Apply all. Okay, perfect. Okay, there you go. Now we can remove all of these. We can go here, and then 3, 3. So structure placement, structure placement, structure placement. And where are my actual structures? 1, 2, 3. Resources 5. Okay, for now we're gonna have these three, but I mean we're not gonna be using them for now. Current tower height, blah blah blah. Okay, so in theory it should be working, but again, you know me, we might have forgotten one or two things. So first, let's see. Okay, is it giving us an error? Okay, it is giving us an error. So, okay, so let's see. Resources list. The structures costs list. Loop index. Oh fuck. Okay. Replacement. Okay, hold on. So now these ones here, hold on. Structure, no, okay. There you go. So now here, game manager, we're gonna do placement, right? These three need to actually exist in the scene because they're always gonna be moving and stuff. It's these three that don't have to be moving. Okay, hold on. Hopefully now it shouldn't give us errors. Okay, hold on. Okay, so it's still tower placement position structure. Then move said structure. Oops. Current placement area object. Okay, so current placement area object. You mean stored prefabs won't work? Well, they won't work because for the placement, you need to already have an object in the scene, right? So let me just reset. So these three objects represent where we are going to be placing our towers. That's why we need for them to exist, right? So let me just put them like that over here. Okay, let's just go here. Let's see. Current placement area object. Okay, hold on. Raycast dot collider dot object placement area placement layer mask. Yeah, okay, so it should work. Okay, hold on. Let me see. So our tiles should have the placement area thing. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we go back to here. So basically, whichever tile I'm currently pointing at with my mouse, it should be the this object here should change to it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so it is changing, so that's good. Okay, it is changing. Blah, blah, blah. Like that. Okay. So then, what's giving us the error? Then move said structure placement object to the position of blah, blah, blah. Current tower height divided by, so current structure height. Current structure height. Okay, hold on. What's my current structure height? also 1. What the fuck is my... current structure height. Well, let's see, 2. Hey, Silver Sterling. Spent time with the fam. Thought I'd stop by for a split second. Guess I'll watch the VOD later. Alright, sounds good. Okay, hold on. Okay. So you see here, you can see it like appear and disappear basically. Okay. So, okay, so clearly this, the placement code isn't working for whatever reason, right? So let's see. Here we have this player manager, reset structure placement, current placement area, debug. Okay, yeah, this we don't care. Placement indicator object. Move the placement indicator to the hit position. Yeah, okay, so this works. So this 100% works. Otherwise, when this raycast isn't in contact with the placement area, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hold on. Okay, meanwhile, here in my player manager, first go through the placement structures list. List and activate/deactivate all relevant tower placement. Current structure ID dot active self. Okay, hold on. I do feel like I'm missing something. Let me just check. Okay. Current, what's my current structure height? Current structure ID is 0. Current structure to place object. Okay, let me just see. Okay. Okay, so basically you see where the sphere is. I should have like the blue cube appearing, except it isn't. Or rather, hold on. Okay, so it is appearing, but it isn't being moved. Right? Exactly, because the code it's giving me is, let's see, 149. Current, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. I think I understand. This equals raycast. Okay, I think, okay, yeah. Because I think, yeah. I think the error was that I did not, I never put a reference to my, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's the error, yeah. I forgot to put a reference to my raycast script. So basically it was trying to access my raycast script without any reference to it, basically. Okay. Do you have the necessary points to pay for it? Alright. Okay, there you go. Okay, well now we're still getting an error. But you see now at least we can see it moving. Okay? Okay, so now we're still getting an error, but on a different line. So now here it's player resources. Current structure manager script. Okay, and what's the error? It's there's no reference to an object. So line 183 current manager script. Okay. Structure manager. Yes. Structure manager. Okay, let's go back to our prefabs. Here. Structure manager. Structure costs. Okay, so let's do this as a way of debugging. We're gonna make it public. Okay, we're gonna make it public. So now I'm temporarily going to make the variable public just to see if it actually updates properly. So you see here, yeah, current structure manager script, there's nothing. This should be getting updated as soon as I boot up the game, basically. Hold on. Yeah, okay, there you go. So it is getting booted up. Okay, now it initially gave us a couple of errors, but now it has stopped. Okay, and now I can place structures. Okay, interesting. Hold on, let's go down all the way. Let's go down all the way. Okay. There you go. Okay, so now that works. Hold on. So now that works, let me just change a little something here. I'm going to remove this. Okay, hold on. Like that, I'm going to remove, so this, I'm gonna make it private again. And then this thing here, I'm just gonna remove it. And then this here, I'm also going to remove it. And now why is it giving me an error? Can I use the logo? What? Okay. Oh, fuck, I'm stupid. There you go. There you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now it should be working. Okay. But basically, just in case for those wondering, the error was, let me just Control Z. It's because I deleted all of this, but I forgot to delete the last parentheses. So that's why it gave me an error. But now here, if I delete this, boom, no error, no problems, nothing. Okay. So now that we have this, like that, hold on. Let's go here. Let me just change all three of these to be like that. Okay. There you go. These three structures, then these three also like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's test it out one last time. And now if it works, I'm gonna add the remaining, what's it called? Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Hold on. Okay, so, huh. Okay, hold on. Let's restart. Let's see, what kind of error is it giving us? Player resources loop, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hold on. Let me just do this in void start. Do equals prefabs list get component structure manager. Now let's see if that is going to solve the problem. Okay. Let's see if that's going to solve the problem. Okay, like that. Okay. All right. Now I'm curious. Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. So it was basically some weird type of setup problem. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and now here I can place my structures however I want. Okay, perfect. All right. Oh, now I put one inside of there. Anyways. Oh, now I guess it's not letting me place any more of them. Have I run out of resources or like what's happening? Okay, interesting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this I might have to check on later, but before that, yeah, what I'm gonna do is that right now I haven't put any code that allows me to swap between the blue one, the red one, and the green one, right? So so basically now I'm going to add the what's it called, the actual UI elements in order to show you guys how to do some really basic stuff. Like it's gonna be really fucking basic, right? So first we're gonna go back to our tower defense scene, and now here we're just I'm gonna click on the UI parent object. I'm going to Control C to copy it, and here I'm gonna Control V. Okay, there you go. So now remember we have like our UI. This is just an empty game object. Hold on, there you go. Here we have our canvas. I automatically set up to 1920 by 1080. And let me just show you here. Yeah, so this is our canvas. This right here is like a button. We have our game over image, whatever, right? Like that. So here I'm just gonna use this. Well, I'm gonna keep it yeah, I'm gonna keep it disabled, but I'm not gonna remove it just because I might use it as a reference for how to do, like, because I always forget how to properly implement pictures because I haven't done UI often enough, right? Like I do UI maybe like for a couple of weeks just to test something out to see if it works, and once it works I stop touching UI for like 6 months. So I kind of like forget the details of the different things. But basically soon, in the coming weeks, I'm gonna start actually doing like more stuff for UI in my game. And so I'm gonna be able to probably help you guys out more with UI eventually. Once I get my my head back in the game, so to speak. Okay, so now here we have one button. We're gonna make it, I'm thinking we're gonna make it square, maybe 100 by 100. Okay, now here we're gonna move it to minus 250, minus 360. Okay, we're gonna duplicate it. This one we're gonna move to like that, and this one we're gonna do it like that. This one is going to be green, and this one is going to be blue. There you go. Highlighted color. So hold on, actually, let's make it some sort of light blue, and then highlighted color. No, wait. This is going to be the slightly lighter blue. Okay, this one is going to be the slightly lighter red, or like orange, whatever. This one is going to be a slightly lighter green. Okay, there you go. And so this is blue building, red building, and then green building. Okay. What are you clicking? UI buttons to select the structure type to place. Yeah, that's basically what I'm preparing right now. So basically each button, the moment you click it, it's going to select a specific like a specific structure or whatever. So basically what you do here, you have the different components, right? The canvas render, the image, the button, whatever. And here you have an on-click thing, right? You have an on-click thing, and what we're gonna do is we're simply, let me just reopen all of these. We're simply gonna drag and drop the object we want, which in this case is the game manager, right? We're gonna drag and drop it here, and then here we can select a bunch of functions, right? So now what I'm gonna do, okay, is let's just save really quick. Let's go into here. Let's go all the way down and do public void public void, and it's gonna be it's gonna be public void select blue building. Okay, again, this is going to be very ghetto, but it's just some very basic stuff, right? So select red, green. So here we're just going to do current structure ID equals 0, current structure ID equals 1, equals to, again, like we're keeping things super simple, right? And because I made them public, this is going to allow us, once it finishes implementing the code, it's going to allow us to do this, right? So let's remove this, right? You select game manager, in our case, that you select the object that has the script you want to use. In our case, it's the game manager. Then here, you simply go into the player manager CB script, and now here select blue building. Boom, that's it. Same thing here, like that. Here, select red building, and now here, oops, not this. Here like that. Select green building. There you go. So now let's see if it actually works, right? Let's see. on. There you go. Okay. So now as we can see, we have the blue building kind of selected, right? Now if I press on the green one, boom, now we have the green one selected. If I press on the red one, if I press on the green one again, boom, if I press on the blue one, there you go. Like that. See? Simple. Simple and stupid. So I like to call it. But my game is going to have 50 buttons. I'm gonna need 50 functions for my wage sim. Well, that's the thing, right? So this right here is really ghetto, okay? The way the thing is, okay, let me show you some more stuff. And again, like I'm really rusty with UI, and these here are basic, right? Actually, let me show you something. Okay, hold on. Just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so let me show you something. Unity store. Tools, GUI. Is it GUI? Well, whatever. Just type UI. Here, UI. Inject all. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here you have a bunch of different UIs and stuff, okay? One of the ones, so let's click on this, modular game UI kit, okay? You basically download this. Again, this one is 100 Canadian dollars, right? And I haven't bought this one, by the way, just so you know, but like, here's an example, right? Basically, it gives you a bunch of pre-made, really good like UI icons and stuff like that, right? That's like really useful when you're trying to create something very basic, right? Now, again, I haven't used this one, so I'm not sure exactly how it is meant to be used and stuff, right? I'm gonna show you one of the ones I've bought, right? So this company, Mitch Sky or whatever it's called, they have some really cool stuff, right? Like whichever one you buy, they all pretty much work the same, more or less, right? So I don't know, like let's click on this one, for instance. Maybe we're gonna see it if it actually fucking opens up. Okay, there you go. Sure, allow all, whatever. Fucking. Okay. Let me just boost this. Okay, so hold on. So here, so you see how the mouse is just moving over the UI icon, right? These guys, something that's really cool is that their buttons come with more functionalities, right? So you can end up having, so you see how here you have like an on click. Their buttons come with stuff like on hover, right? So like when your mouse goes over the button, something can happen. When it goes away from it, something else can happen, stuff like that, right? So I would advise, like once you're more serious with your project, right, to potentially buy one of these packs, right, like whichever one works best for you, and to see how their stuff works, right? And they have like a bunch of different things like that, right? So for instance, you can create a button like this that has like a list, and you can add however many elements you want to it, right? And so then you still use like this little ghetto thing of like a very simple function like this, right? But the thing is, it's not that annoying because at the end of the day, it like allows you to how can I say? It basically allows you to um, holy shit, I just spaced out on the word. It allows you to have multiple buttons really quickly on your UI, right? Can you show me name of the developer again, please? Okay, let me just give you a second. It's like, I think it's pronounced Mitch Sky. I'm not sure. I'm gonna link. Actually, I'm gonna in the Discord server. I'm going to link in the game dev resources. I'm gonna link their website. Hold on. So let me just do it like that. So for UI packs in Unity, really good stuff. And the cool thing is that, so here, like if you click on projects, you have like their different UIs, right? So on and so forth. The one I use for my game is this one, the sci-fi one. But when I say I'm using it, it's like I'm not literally just reusing their assets, right? It's more so that I'm using it as a template, but then I'm changing a lot of the visuals for myself. I'm mostly using the code architecture, if that makes sense, right? So let me just give you an example. Let me show you, is this a good one or is this one better? Okay, hold on. Yeah, so there you go. So here you have like these different things, blah, blah, blah. You have like stuff that reacts. Like you see how the UI reacts. So that's why I'm saying like for UI, and this is why I hate doing UI. That's why I bought the UI pack, because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna create all the code and all the animations and all that stuff for every little thing. Like my game's gonna take me like a decade to make, if not more, right? So fuck that, I'm not doing that. But that's why I'm saying like use their stuff, and not just these guys. These are the ones that I am like I bought stuff from just because I really like their style, right? Their style is a bit more sci-fi and stuff, but there are other ones. There are other UI packs that are more like fantasy-esque, right? Like this one, I think. Yeah, this one is more. Yeah, this one works better for like a medieval game or whatever, right? And also something really cool about these guys is here in documents, documentation, here you select which one. So I don't know, let's say heat UI, right? And here you have like quick start, control and input, UI manager, blah, 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 right? Stuff like that. So it really explains everything you need to know, basically, right? And it's really useful. It's really user friendly and stuff. It's really fun, basically. So let me just close off this. Okay, so this I think covers most of the topics I wanted to cover for today. I know the stream was a bit shorter than usual. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should cover, or I guess I'm gonna push it over to tomorrow. So the idea, okay, let me think. Okay, so the idea is that tomorrow I think I'm gonna start doing the Blender stuff, right? Let me just give me a second for me to think if there's anything else, because like again, like I showed you some really basic stuff with the UI, right? And unfortunately, the more fancy stuff with the UI, I'm doing it using one of these packs, right? So that's why it's like what I can show you guys with the UI is a bit more limited, just because like I'm mostly used to using stuff in the UI using like the Mitch Sky packs or whatever, right? But other than that, right? Other than this stuff with the UI and whatnot, right? I'm gonna start tomorrow for tomorrow's stream. I'm gonna show the what's it called? The let me just put these back in. I'm gonna show you guys how to create custom 3D models in Blender. Okay, let me just select this. I'm gonna show you guys how to create custom 3D models in Blender, and then hold on, let me think. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how to create the custom models in Blender, and how to import them into Unity. It's really not complicated, right? I could technically spend the next like couple of minutes to show you guys, but I haven't touched Blender in a minute, just because I've been really busy doing the code implementation in my game, so I haven't touched Blender in a while. And so I'm a bit rusty, so I'd like to first practice a bit, just so that I can kind of refresh my memory for tomorrow's stream. And hold on, what was the other thing that I wanted to say? Let me show you kind of, yeah. So this is Blender here. I'm using Blender 4.0. Wait, can you make a simple restriction? For example, you can place structures on land. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so this is what Blender looks like. I'm using Blender 4.0. I think now they're like at a much more advanced version. I think the latest version of Blender, hold on, Blender, I think it's like 4.4 or something. So I guess you can download this one and like follow, like the differences shouldn't be that big, right? But that's kind of the idea in general. So download Blender if you want for tomorrow's stream. If not, I mean, you can just watch my stream. Like, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. For anybody watching the VOD or even the stream right now, you can feel free to join the Discord, where you can get access to lots of resources. Like whenever one of us like finds something interesting that could be useful for us and whatnot, like we usually post it in the Discord server. And yeah, so let me just do what Red Herring asked. So Red Herring, access to vital resources. Jesus Christ. Jesus. All right. Okay, so just give me a second. So Red Herring, for those of you like watching the VOD or whatever, Red Herring asked how to implement a way to make it so that the what's it called, the so that I can only place certain tiles, certain structures on certain tiles, right? In other words, let me show you how I'm gonna do it. Okay, structure manager. I'm gonna do here public integer. No, public boolean can place on water equals false. Public bool can place on land. There you go, like that. Okay. Okay, just be right back. 5 seconds. Okay, please share this version of the project with us once you finish the stream. Would you want me to share this version specifically, or would you be okay with waiting until tomorrow? Because I don't want to like I prefer sharing a version of the project after each weekend, just because it's a bit easier to like see what the differences are like each Sunday, like, you know what I mean? But like let me know which one you prefer. Like, I don't mind. It's just me personally, that's how I would do it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what's most convenient for you guys. Hold on. So here we have the booleans. Okay. What was it? It's a grid tile CB. Okay. So here we're going to do private grid tile CB current grid tiles script. Current grid tiles script. Current grid tiles script. Okay. You're the boss. By the end of the week it is. No, well, I mean, it's just, it depends on what you guys prefer. It's just that me personally, I prefer sharing the project at the end of Sunday, because oftentimes the plans I have for the weekend are like for the Saturday and Sunday stream are like interlinked, right? So that's why like to me it feels a bit stupid to post it after each stream, just because it's almost like posting an unfinished tutorial, like you know what I mean. So that's why I'm like, but I mean it depends, right? Like if you only if the most time you have to work on this is like Saturday, then like I'm gonna post it, I don't mind. It's just let me know like if you mind or what you prefer or whatever, right? Because I really like, it makes no difference to me. Current placement area. Okay. Okay, hold on. So we're going to move this like that, and then here it's okay, hold on, just give me a second to focus, to visualize how I'm gonna put the code up. So move the placement indicator. Okay, yeah, and here it's get access to the current grid tiles script. Okay, so current grid tile script. Trust your opinion more than mine when it comes to these projects. It's fine, as you said, at the end of the week. Well, at the end of the week, it's gonna be like tomorrow. So, but I mean, honestly, like if you want, like after this stream, I'm gonna post it just for you, just because I love you that much. All right. So current grid tile script equals placement area object dot get component grid tile CB. Okay, there you go. Grid tile CB. Okay. Hold on. And now we're going to say, where was it? Player manager CB. We're gonna go here. Okay. Hold on. We're gonna go here. And I'm gonna do, so placement here, it's public int current placement area type equals 0 equals land 1 equals water, and we're gonna say -2. Okay, like that. Okay. So let me go back to my raycast manager here. Raycast CB manager. Ah, for fuck's sake. Okay, like that. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Like that. Oops, like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, like that. And then what we're gonna do is player manager dot tile dot placement area type equals grid tile dot type tile type. Okay, and if I remember correctly, hold on, if I remember correctly, grid tile here, tile type, yeah, it's either 0 or 1, perfect. So let me just go back here, 0 or this player manager, yeah, current grid tile script, tile type, yeah, and then current placement area type, okay, current okay, can place new structure. So let's see where this one was. Then see if player can place, okay. So if new structure placement boolean equals true and structures overlapping equals false, can place new structure. Hold on. So let's add more stuff here. It's if placement type is equals 0 and current tile manager dot can land can place on land equals true. There you go. Can place on land. Boom. Okay. So if current placement area type equals 1 and current structure manager dot can place on water. Oops. There you go. There you go. Okay. So now basically what I did, let me explain exactly what I did, right? Here in our raycast manager, I added this variable here, which allows us to get access to whatever tile the player's mouse is currently like pointing at, right? So mouse coordinates placement dot collider dot game object is the current placement area object, and then we just do current grid tile script equals current placement area object dot get component grid tile city builder script, and then what we do is we go into our player manager script and we update. So I created this new variable which is the current placement area type, and we simply update it using the reference we have to the current tile, right? So we look, is the tile a land tile? Then this is going to be 0. If it's a water tile, it's going to be 1, right? So let me just press save all. So if I go here into my manager, where was it? Yeah, so here we have our placement tile, okay? And then because the conditions we're using to place a building is if we can place a new structure, Boolean is true, and if we can afford the structure is true, then great, right? It's all fine and dandy. So let me just give you an example, okay? So yeah, so basically because we're using this, hold on. So because we're using both of these, right? We're gonna say can place new structure. So far, the only constraint as to whether or not we can or cannot place a structure is whether or not it's colliding with another one, right? Whether or not like it's overlapping, I mean, right? And if new structure placement boolean is true, but overlapping is false, then it used to just immediately say you can place a new one, right? Now what I added is when both of these are well, this one is true and this one is false, then check whether or not the current placement area type is land and the current structure says that it can be placed on land, right? Then you can place the new structure, or check if it's water type, right? If the current tile is a water type tile and you can't place it on water, then it's also true. Otherwise, it's basically false, right? Yeah, and then everything else is the same. So now I realize that this, I haven't finished it. So after I'm done showing this, I'm gonna finish this thing here that I set up at the very beginning of the stream, and then I'm probably gonna call it quits for the day. But hold on, let me just drink a little. Okay, so now I need to actually implement the code that I did. So let's go here, structure. So the blue structure is only gonna be on water. Oh, hold on, let me just see, because I'm curious now. No, it's structure. Oh, there you go. Can be placed like that. Oh, okay, so it can, so the blue one can be placed on water. Or actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna do the opposite. Just because if I put blue on blue, it's gonna be harder to see, right? So what I'm thinking is the blue one only goes on land, the green one only goes on water, and the red one can go on both. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. That way it's the easiest to see. So let me just show you what it should look like. Again, I think it should be working. Okay, there you go. Okay, right. So here, if I press left click, okay, well the first one dropped, but then the rest it's not letting me. Okay, interesting. See, now here I can place it. Okay. Now, by the way, I know what this bug is that kind of allows me to place one once, but then the rest it doesn't allow me to place them. I'm probably gonna fix it some other time, right? So now I'm trying to click here. It's not really working, right? There you go. But now here I can place it. Now here I can place the red one on the land and on the water. So yeah, so as you can see, there's a little bit of a bug with this. But I mean, overall it works, right? Overall it works. Again, I don't want to waste too much time fixing the bug because it's something I can do tomorrow. You know what I mean? But it's something a little tricky, and it involves messing with the raycast. Yeah. So the idea. So one of the bugs, because I think it's actually 2 or 3 different small bugs. One of the bugs is the fact that when you click on a button, okay, the raycast is still going through the button. Like, let me just show you. Again, like these are bugs I'm gonna fix probably tomorrow. But let's just wait for everything to set up. Okay, there you go. Okay. So if you look, right, if I click on the red button, okay, so hold on. So let me just select green like that. Okay. If I click on the red button, so right now in theory I shouldn't be able to like put a green one, it's probably gonna allow me. Yeah, it's gonna allow me, but now I can't place new ones anymore, right? If I click on the red button, it should, I think, spawn a, yeah, okay, well, yeah, there you go. If I click on this one, yeah, see? There you go. Because basically it's like the raycast goes through, yeah, it goes through the UI, but there is a way of making it not go through the UI, but I'm gonna show you guys this probably tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so now we have this working, more or less working, and now I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to actually add this part of the code here, right? So first let me do this. Okay, public void update resources. No, wait, you know what? So also update resources. So for loop index 0, loop index 0, player resources list, loop plus plus. This whole thing here is just placeholder, right? But for now, it's just to make things simpler. So it's going to be loop, resources list, loop index plus equals. Okay, hold on. Integer resource RNG, resource RNG equals random dot range 0 to 4. Okay, then plus, there you go. Okay, so we're going to be incrementing the player's resources by a random amount, and then hold on, and then what was it? Now update the buttons to reflect whether or not player the player can afford said structures. Okay, so now here I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna do UI related variables. Okay, yeah, buttons list. Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna do structure manager. It's other structure manager script. The only reason why I'm creating another structure manager script is it's because I don't want to risk using both of these at the same time, right? So this one is used in my structure placement function, whereas this one is going to be used in my update UI function, which let me just update UI like that. Update UI. Oops, there you go. So now what I'm gonna do here is okay, for integer loop index 0, loop index 0 is going to be buttons list dot count loop index 0 like that. Okay, and now we're gonna do bool can afford current structure bool equals false. Okay, check to see if player can afford each structure and update their buttons accordingly. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create another script. Basically we're gonna create the same thing here that I did here. Like that. Like that. Okay, so there you go. Blah blah blah. Okay, and then okay, buttons list. Okay, once you've checked the affordability, update current structures button. Okay, and now we're gonna say if can afford current structure boolean equals false, but buttons list loop 0 dot what is it? No. Which function was it? It's not enabled. It's interactable dot interactable is equals true. Then we're gonna do interactable equals false. Oops. Okay. Else if can afford current structure is true, but it's not interactable, then we're gonna make it interactable. Okay. All right. So now this should work, hopefully. So the logic is basically we're gonna be checking if hold on. We're gonna be checking if each structure is affordable, and if yes, then basically if it is affordable, then enable the button for us to be able to click it. If not, then disable it, right? So hold on, so this like that should be good. Oh yeah, and now let's change their cost. So let's say this one is going to cost 1 2 3 2 1. Okay, this one's going to be the opposite, 3 2 1 2 3, and then this one is going to be 2 2 2 2 2, right? There you go. Or actually 1 1 3 3 2. Yeah, there you go. Just to make it a little more interesting. Okay. All right. So now let's see. Let's look at how many resources the player has, right? Because it's going to be incrementing them. Every second, it's going to increment the resources dynamically. Let's see. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. It's really quick, actually. Okay, hold on. Fuck. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. I'm stupid. It's because I forgot to reset this. So at the very, very end, time elapsed. Hold on. Jesus. So once all of this is done, reset the time elapsed. Minus equals UI timer F. Okay, there you go. That should be good. Right? Okay. All right. Okay. Now hopefully it should be better. Okay, hold on. Okay, see? So there you go. So let me just select one of these. So you see now the red button is disabled, right? Now the green one's disabled. Okay, and now if I stop, hold on. Let's see. Eventually it should. Yeah, so see now it's enabled, etc., etc., right? So again, like it's very rudimentary and there are clearly problems because I shouldn't be going into negative resources. But again, that's something that we can fix tomorrow, right? But the general idea, as you can see, is the game keeps track of which structure is affordable and which one isn't, right? It was increasing faster than the external debt interest rate. yeah, we were having hyperinflation before, but yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did for today. I hope it was clear and it was easy to follow for you guys, and like you got a properly good idea of like how to do these mechanics. Again, like we want this game to be kosher but not that kosher. Jesus. But yeah, so again, the idea is today I like implemented a lot of like the core stuff, but as you can see, like there are a few bugs here and there still that I'm thinking that we're gonna hopefully fix tomorrow, because the blender stuff is not gonna take like 2.5 hours or whatever, right? Like the blender stuff is very like Blender in general is very friendly to use. Like when I was in game dev school, we had to use Maya, and that shit was a fucking pain in the ass. But yeah, Blender, it's hopefully it should be fairly easy to use. And I'm gonna show you guys how to create some very basic 3D models, and then how to import them into Unity from Blender, and do a bunch of other cool stuff like how to prepare the models so that you can already put multiple different materials on the same model. So that should be fun as well. And then once we're done with that, I'm gonna try and fix a few of the bugs that we saw today, just to make the game a bit like, the prototype, just to make the prototype a bit more how do you say, like a bit more functional and stuff, right? To make it like better, basically. Oh, hold on. Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, and so that's the plan for that. As for my game, the game that I've been working on for Lord knows how long, I'm almost done implementing all of the stuff. I'm basically at the last main mechanic. I only have like one really big main mechanic left to implement, but it might be the one that takes me the longest amount of time, just because I might have to redesign a few systems and how can I say, like modify a few things, right? So that might take me some time. But at this point, I'm far enough into my game that I think I'm gonna start. I'm not sure when, but probably soon-ish. I'm gonna start, because hold on, let me show you specifically what I'm referring to. Hold on, like that. Okay, what the fuck is this? No, not YouTube Studio, viewer channel, posts. Okay, so I'm specifically, hold on, I'm just curious. Okay. Yeah, I'm specifically referring to this here, which is now like 1 or 2 months ago, right, that I posted this. Basically, I'm probably going to start again. Like, I'm not sure exactly when, whether it's gonna be this week. Probably not. It's probably not gonna be this week, but probably before the end of July, I'm gonna start doing the actual like game dev streams for uh, my game, the one that I'm doing, where we're gonna be doing the visuals for the game, right? So let me just go back here. So one of the things we're going to be doing, so this is like a very basic sketch of the galactic map. It's not, the end result is not going to look like this. It's going to have fewer arms. Well, no, actually it's, here it has 7 arms. It's going to have 6 arms. And basically, it's going to like I'm going to start implementing the visuals for the galaxy, and then eventually for certain specific parts, like more detailed parts of the galaxy, I'm going to start creating what's it called, I'm going to start creating solar systems and other stuff like that, right? Let me just yeah, there you go. Hold on. So yeah, so here's some of the screenshots I've taken. Those who are in the server have seen these already, right? But this is for the VOD people. So eventually I'm gonna start also like creating the actual star systems and populating them with planets and stuff like that. And so the goal of these streams is that now that I've done the boring part on my own, which is like the coding and all of that like really boring shit, and like I'm almost done with the coding. Again, I have one big main mechanic left to do, but that one's gonna take some time, right? But I feel confident enough to start putting in the visuals, right? So one of the types of streams I'm going to be doing is like the galactic visuals. So like what the galaxy is going to look like, what the different solar systems that are part of the galaxy are going to be called and stuff like that, right? But I'm thinking something that could be really fun is to do it with the audience, right? And for you guys to help contribute, right? So that way, like eventually when the game comes out, you can kind of like see, oh yeah, I remember like this is the solar system that so and so helped make or come up with or whatever, right? Now, not only that, but what I'm also gonna be doing, other than just the galactic visuals, it's also gonna be the spaceship visuals, which are basically going to be I want the 3D minimap equivalent of this. Yeah, well, it's gonna look much better than this actually. And hold on, let me see if I have a few. Hold on, I think here. Okay, so here are my my references, right? Not this, not this. Okay, so these are like artworks, right? Obviously, it's not gonna look exactly like this, but let me show you a picture, like the picture I'm gonna show you. This is a real life picture. Okay, this right here is a real life galaxy, somewhere like in real life. It was taken by like one of those like super powerful like telescopes or whatever, satellites. And so the idea is I'm gonna start creating something like this, right? Like something that looks like this, where you're gonna have like these giant clouds of nebulas, and then like certain parts are gonna be much more clustered, whereas other parts are gonna be much darker and stuff, right? So that the first couple of streams, again, I have no idea how long it's gonna take me, are gonna be about making the galactic map, basically, right? So here we have like all of these different regions, right? We're gonna be naming them, but again, like they're not gonna be placed exactly the way you see them here. They're gonna be placed a bit differently. Uh, and again, like we're gonna all work together to figure out which fits best where and whatever, right? And then once we're done like placing them and adding like the visuals and stuff, then let's say we're gonna do, I don't know, like we want to explore this area, for instance, right? So then I'm gonna start creating more like close-up versions of these things where like in my game, when you double click on the icon of a specific like region or sector or whatever you want to call it, it's like gonna zoom in and it's gonna start showing us like the actual like star clusters and stuff, right? Hold on, let me show you. Okay, yeah. Okay, this right here is a good example. Let's wait for it to load actually. Okay, so this here is like the observable universe. Obviously, my game is not gonna be that fucking huge. Obviously, here you have like galactic superclusters. Here you have like local superclusters or whatever. Here you have the different galaxies, right? And this here is like the Milky Way, basically. So what I'm going to be creating is like basically something like this, right? Like a galaxy like this, right? And then here it's going to be basically this thing here, right? Which is going to be like, you know, fairly detailed with certain areas that are like, that obviously have more stars than others, right? And then what I was referring to is like, for instance, exactly. Too many details could be an overkill. Exactly. And so the idea is, you're in my game, like I'm not crazy, right? And I'm not gonna do what like Star Citizen and all these other what was it, like No Man's Sky, right? No Man's Scam, because that game's a scam, and I'm gonna die on that fucking hill, right? Where like they were like, do you remember they were like, oh, you have like I don't know how many billions of stars that you can explore in our universe. And it's like, yeah, but it's all empty. There's no content. Like it's all bullshit, right? So in my game, the way I'm gonna be doing the visuals, it's using something called the VFX graph, which we haven't seen yet in Unity. But if you want, you can look it up. It's just a way of doing visual effects. It's really basic, but it gets the job done, and it's basically going to look like these stars here, right? Like these different colored little dots and stuff like that, right? And just like we see it here, there are going to be certain areas that are going to be much more clustered, right? And others, so areas like this that are much more clustered, and then other areas that are a bit emptier, right? And the idea is, you're not actually going to be able to explore every single one of these star systems or whatever, right? Like that's ridiculous, right? Instead, there are going to be like icons, right? So if we go back here, you're going to have like different icons, right? And like let's say you double click on one of them, and it's going to like change the view on the player's screen, and it's going to go into something more like this, right? Where you see like a central solar system, and again, like it's represented like this, right? It's not necessarily to scale, it's more like a visual representation, right? And so you're gonna see like a bunch of different stars like these, right? And so that's what I'm thinking of doing, right? Using this philosophy of less is more, in the sense that we don't need to be able to explore every single little galaxy, not galaxy, but solar system in the galaxy, right? It's much more interesting to only have access to certain tiny little parts of the galaxy, because that way it creates a feeling of immersion in the player, because it actually stimulates the player's imagination of being like, well, shit, if like if this cluster here, right, looks like this, right, and it has I don't know which civilization or maybe it's contested between two civilizations or something like that, right? Well, then I wonder what the other clusters could look like, right? And so this is why I want to do this with the audience, because I think it's going to be really fun for the audience to also participate and like come up with names, come up with different things, right? I'm like, okay, let's make a specific star system. How many stars do we want? 1, 2, 3, however many, right? Stuff like that, right? Uh, and then obviously, like let's say I make this solar system here, right? So then we go we zoom in, and then we create the different planets, and we make them all orbit around the star and everything. And then I can like, oh Jesus, not this, there you go. And then I can like go here and like do the actual planet and stuff like that, right? So that's basically the plan, right? They eventually fixed No Man's Sky and added a ton of free content. It's not what they originally promised, but it's a decent redemption arc. I know, I know, Clark. I know everybody says that, but I'm like a hardliner, right? Uh, I'm old school, as a lot of you might know, and I grew up in the early 2000s, where because I was born in '96. So I grew up when we didn't have day one patches, right? We didn't have any of this stuff, right? And it's like your game is supposed to be exactly what you advertised when you released it, right? So although good for them for having a redemption arc, it does not change the fact that they lied, right? Like the creator of the game was like, oh, it's gonna have multiplayer. Yeah, for sure. Well, no, it took them like what, 1 or 2 years before they could add multiplayer, right? It's bullshit, right? So that's what I mean. Like we need to hold people accountable. We also need to reward good behavior. So good on them for redeeming themselves. But me personally, I'm a hardliner when it comes to that. It's like you should not lie to your audience, right? Like you should not, like it's as if like for my strategy game, I promise, because like a lot of people have asked me this, like, oh well, am I gonna be able to like walk inside of spaceships in your game? The answer is no, right? That's just not something I'm gonna have in my game. But imagine if I said like, oh yeah, for sure you're gonna be able to do that, right? And then like someone buys my game thinking that mechanic's in the game, and then turns out it's not, right? Like that's why I take big issue with people who like don't advertise their stuff properly, right? Um, Hold on. So where was I? I don't know if you mentioned it before, but does your game give you the chance to produce an artificial planet and place it in a solar system as a spy replacement for other planets? For now, no. The original version of my game had more mechanics like these, but for now, I'm not gonna do that just because. So hold on. So let me explain uh, to you kind of what the philosophy of my game originally was and what it has transformed into. So Stellaris. So originally, my game was a lot closer to Stellaris. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Stellaris is this game where like you have like a galaxy, and you start with like a single planet and you expand through the galaxy. Let me see if I can zoom into this. No, okay, I can't zoom in. But anyways, and basically you can do diplomacy, you can do a bunch of other stuff, right? The problem with Stellaris is that the way the game is designed is that you create so civilization builder, I guess, or whatever. Okay, yeah. So here you select like what type of government do you have, like what's your species, what's your home world or whatever, right? Like here you can see, and you have different traits and stuff like that, right? How many millions procedurally generated worlds? We can't walk in ships in your game. You scammed us. Yeah, yeah. The galaxy is a proxy for a country in other similar strategy games. Yeah. But basically the problem with Stellaris is that ironically by adding all of these choices, you end up actually making them way more shallow, right? Because it all devolves into like points stuff, right? Like it's all like, oh, I can take this trait that's gonna make my species work 15% faster or some bullshit like that. It's like, okay, but who gives a fuck? Like, that's not intuitive, right? That's not, and it's not interesting because everybody can kind of make these like chimera civilizations. None of them have a real proper identity, right? As opposed to something like, let's say, hold on, Warhammer 40k. Let's see. Okay, that's their website. Sure, Canadian English, yeah. Yeah, so in Warhammer, if you look at the different factions, let me see. Typically, they have fight for the future. No, oh fuck. What's the website? They had a website. Is it Warhammer Community? Fuck's sake. No, well, anyways, let me just Warhammer 40k factions. Okay, I like. Fuck, because I need artworks. They had a website where it like showed all of the factions. Fuck's sake. Where is it? Warhammer 40k website. Where is it? My Warhammer. Nope. Nope. Bro, what the fuck is this bullshit? Anyways, whatever, I can't find it. But basically it showed all of the factions artwork. Okay. This could be it. No. Well, anyways. Well, you can kind of basically see the different factions, how they each have their own identity, right? Like these are Sisters of Battle. These are Adeptus Mechanicus, right? Let's say the Eldari, right? Like they each have their own color palette, their own style, their own visuals, right? Their own identity, right? And so the idea that I'm going with for my game, right? Consider muting your Discord notification sounds. Oh, sorry. I don't have my headphones on, so like I don't. I didn't hear any of them. Sorry. I'm gonna put my headphones on now. But basically, the idea I'm going with in my game, right? It's going to be that there are going to be pre-made civilizations and factions, right? And some of those I've come up with them already, but others I'm going to be Others I'm going to be making them with the community, right? And the idea is that, like, in terms of having stuff like, oh, you can build artificial planets or something, I'm thinking of having certain mechanics like that, but I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna implement them yet, right? Oh yeah, someone's okay. Hold on, let me just volume mixer. Oh well, there's no. Yeah, there's no. Hold on. Let's go here. No, fuck's sake. Okay, there you go. Okay, well, hold on. I'm gonna turn Discord off. Actually, there you go. Okay. Let me just copy and paste. Yes, you fucking asshole. Yeah. So I just linked, for those interested, I just linked the Discord server for those who aren't in it yet. And so yeah. So as I was saying, right, we're gonna be creating together the different. What are they called? The different solar systems, the different planets, the different like sectors, subsectors, clusters, whatever we're gonna call them, right? We're gonna start like slowly but surely populating the galaxy, right? Again, this is just like a reference using a real life galaxy because it gives a good idea of like how it's not like symmetrical, right? Like you have certain areas with like a shit ton of stars, right? And then you have like other areas with like barely anything, right? So that's really interesting, right? And then the other thing that I'm going to be doing in other streams, but I'm going to be doing them more or less at the same time, is the spaceship creation, right? Now, let me just open up Paint to kind of highlight, to kind of explain what I'm going for, right? So the way spaceships are going to work in my game, which are spaceships are basically the units that players are going to be able to control in my game, right? The way spaceships are going to be working is that, let's say, actually, I should have, yeah, here, all sorts of spaceships. Okay. Let me find one that has a very particular shape. Or maybe this. Okay. Let's take this actually. Copy. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now, if you guys look at this, this is just the mothership of the Empire, or whatever the fuck they're called. The mothership of the First Order, I think, in Star Wars. And basically, let's say in my game you have a ship like this one that's shaped like this one, so it's very broad, right? But it's not long at all, right? And so the idea is that the shape of a ship in my game is going to have a direct influence with its gameplay, right? So let me just show you. Let me show you something. StarCraft 2 battle cruiser competitive. Okay, double battle cruiser rush. Sure, whatever. Who gives a fuck, right? Is it here or is it here? Okay. Okay, so look at the way those battle cruisers. First of all, they're fucking tiny, right? These things are supposed to be spaceships, and they're fucking tiny. They're like the size of a tank. Everything in my game is to scale, so the really big ships are really fucking big, right? Let me see if okay, yeah. Here's another example. So they're moving, okay. Okay, well, not this. Let's see if they're going to be harassing at some point. Okay, yeah. So here you can see them. They're moving, okay? And they're just shooting however the fuck, right? Like they're just shooting automatically. So you can't really see it, but the projectiles are all coming from the center of the ship, basically, right? The way it's going to work in my game is not like that, right? The way it's going to work in my game is that the shape of a ship is going to have a direct influence with how it behaves, how its gameplay works, right? In other words, a ship like this is going to have a lot more firepower like that, like on the side, right? Like that all the way over here. Or let me find another, I think I had another picture of that ship. Okay, yeah, there you go. Hold on, copy. Let's do new. Okay, like that. Okay, so a ship like that. Okay, oh, here you can kind of see, oh, like that. You can basically it's gonna have like a radius of attack that's gonna be really powerful, right? Like really wide in front of it, right? And also like above it, right? If we do it like that, right? Like basically it's going to be able to attack like from the top, basically, right? Like that, right? But its weakness is gonna be on its sides, right? Like this part here and this part here that's where it's going to be weak, for instance, or like weak from the back, for instance, right? So this is why I wanted to design certain ships with you guys, because I know for a fact that I can't come up with every single idea on my own, right? And so the idea is to come up with all sorts of really crazy designs for ships, right? That are gonna make things really interesting, right? Like this one here, I think. Don't save. This one here, that's I think a 3D printed model of a ship from I think EVE Online or something like that, right? And so like this is another example of a type of ship that I could have in my game, right? It's just, it all depends on like how like people's different ideas, like and stuff like that, right? The scale would have to be ridiculously huge for that to work properly. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Let me hold on. Let me see if I have something. No, that's the old stuff. That's like really old, actually. Fuck. I thought I had. Oh, maybe this. Okay, yeah. So basically, this kind of gives you an idea of like the scale difference. So let me just copy, paste it in Paint. Okay. So if you look at this, okay, hold on. Okay, perfect. So if you look at this, okay, if we zoom in closer, again, these are placeholders. Like right now, this is what my ships look like, okay? I know, very, very beautiful, you know? But the idea is, in the coming weeks, once I start doing these streams, huge projectile placeholders you tried recently? No, it's even older than that. It's way older. It's like a couple months old, actually. But basically, if you look at this here is like the size of like the smallest ship, okay, in my game. Well, actually, there are going to be smaller ships, but the other ships that are going to be even smaller than this one, they're going to be so small they won't even have a 3D model. Okay, they're going to be represented by like UI or something like that, right? But the idea is this is a quote unquote small ship, right? Like small, right? But it's all relative, right? Because this one, if I remember correctly, is like 500 meters long or something like that, right? So if, hold on, if you look at this, what the fuck is this? Jesus, why am I constantly being recommended this garbage? What is it? Halo 3 forward until down landing. Okay. Up high. Okay, there you go. So here, this is like one of the best scenes in Halo 3. This is where like this ship lands, right? So this ship, as you can see, it's fucking massive, right? Like, because this is like in real life scale. You're just a dude on the ground. This is how big the ship is, right? A ship like this is basically like the size of this thing here, right? It's the size of this thing over here, right? Whereas like this ship right here, that's like the size of a capital ship in my game, basically, right? Why there's always an animal, most likely a bear in your because I love watching animals, okay? The algorithm keeps sending me pictures of like dogs and cats and squirrels and stuff like that. Right? But yeah, so basically here, if you look here, it's like the tiniest sized ship. In fact, the smallest one might even be smaller than this one, if I'm not sure, right? And then the biggest one is going to be big like this one here, right? Like this one here, right? And so this is why I'm gonna want to work with you guys in order to come up with all sorts of different ideas and concepts for the shape and size of the ships and stuff like that, right? Like, let me see if I had certain visuals. Let me just give me a moment. What is this? No, not this. Hold on. Okay, yeah. This is a good example, right? Like here you see like the different shapes of ships that can be made, right? So this is kind of what I'm thinking about, right? Like completely crazy shapes and stuff, right? And for those of you who are in the Discord server, you can always like quickly sketch something out, no matter how like awful it looks, and you can always like send it to me and like yeah, like at me and just be like, hey, here's another suggestion or whatever, right? So again, like I'm not sure when exactly, but in the coming weeks, I'm gonna start doing these streams. I'm gonna start doing the spaceship streams, right? But I'm also gonna start doing the galaxy streams, right? And also the cool thing about those streams is that since they're kind of brain dead, they're not really brain dead, but it's not like I'm coding or something or like giving a a coding lesson or a game dev tutorial or whatever. Because of that, I'm gonna be able to like hang out and voice chat with you guys and other stuff like that, right? So long as it stays not too crazy, right? Like I don't want this channel to get like demonetized or something. So just like keep it civil, keep it normal, but I mean I won't mind being in voice chat with a bunch of you guys, right? So yeah, so that's the plan for the next couple of weeks. Not just the next couple of weeks, the next several months. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing more content, more live streams, more often on this channel, and I hope as many of you as possible are gonna join in because I think it's gonna be really cool if we're all participating in making this stuff happen, right? So yeah, so that's the plan. For tomorrow's game dev stream, I'm gonna show you guys how to do some really basic stuff in Blender and how to import it in what's it called, in Unity, and then we're gonna fix a few bugs, and yeah, that's gonna be more or less the plan for tomorrow's stream. And then at some point in the upcoming weeks, probably not this week, but maybe starting at some point around the mid July, I might start doing the actual visuals live streams for the galaxy visuals, for the spaceship visuals, for stuff like that, right? So yeah, so that's the plan. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any comments, if you guys have any requests or whatever, let me know in the comments. Join the Discord, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and stay awesome.